Yeah, blessed love. Give thanks to be here continuously, continually. Give thanks to be here. So I want to drop our next reasoning. So this reasoning now is about the disconnect human relation and human relation to the environment and himself, or we self, or ourself. So it's about disconnect, but I guess this going to be broken up into parts because I'm going to try to make each part of it be about a specific thing. So for this particular first part of the reasoning, and now we're going to talk about spirituality and religion and the disconnect and try to break it down. So before we go into that still, just one drop where I feel like a prayer should be like. Yeah, so we call this now a connection of personal responsible inclusion, otherwise known as prayer. So it's a heal, all uplifting, ancestral and celestial, before and present, known and unknown. As I realize and accept my spiritual connection to the spiritual divine design that I am blessed to be a part of, I seek to anchor myself in the energies and spirit that protects, strengthens, and guides. As I recognize I am the greatest of miracles I will ever know in this manifestation, which is life. I strive to actively contribute to the continuous miracles through the power of the creative energies given to me, asking for nothing in return but to be a positive conductor of said energies. For all my desires will come only through my doings. I give thanks to all positive energies, for I must know I have the intelligence to know nothing outside of myself will heal or forgive me. For it is I who must take responsibility for my actions before and after. And all the love, security, and equality I will know is here and now, in the hearts, arms, and actions of my brothers and sisters. If only we recognize the gift we have been given, the ability, the possibility, the capacity to create even more than we destroy. I give thanks to all the best of spirit and energies before me, as I strive to be added to the ancestral strength for those sure to come after me. As I claim my connection to all things universal, I must be part of the maintaining of the balance of heart, mind, body, soul, fellow men, and environment, all life in general. And what I will for myself, I also release to all others to know the spiritual power we are a part of. Knowing all the good there is for all there is. I give thanks, continuous. Yeah? So, personal, that's the way I feel like a prayer should be like. So, once and once can tap into the universe and create that spiritual connection to the environment, and your prayer can be worded differently and you ask for different things, but it shouldn't be excluding yourself, because you are the God of your environment and your circumstances. We are. So it's what one man do around us, so that's going to affect me around us, and what I do around us are going to affect the environment and the fellow humans and other life form and everything else around us. So if I do good, you do good, the man they do good, then it would just be a world of individuals doing good, and then that would just connect in a sense. Now everybody is doing good, so there's no harm from one to the next, because you're not doing things to bring harm to yourself. So that's the level we want to be on. So we are going at it, daddy, going at it. Yeah, so as I said, the disconnect now between religion and spirituality and church and the whole human behavior towards environment and our life in general, everything. Because the first thing is that we're supposed to give thanks to the environment, to each other. a praise and worship to all things that surround us, whether we can see it physically or not. Because if we understand, say, if one thing to go out of place, like one stone did move from where it there at a certain level or a certain vibration, then it would have a devastating effect. And we know this, but we choose to ignore this. So everything we worship and give thanks to in our environment, the grass, the trees, the stones, you know what I mean, all the things working in harmony that has us here, you know what I mean. So that's our spirituality there. Everything is seen as a part of the life. And it's just one life, with each of us being a manifestation of a part of that life. We need to understand this and tap into this all the way of the capability of doing this, but we've been educated outside of ourselves, so we don't see ourselves as powerful spiritual beings within the realm of things. We feel like we need to go outside of ourselves for everything, where already we have everything within ourselves. We did come forth with everything that we need to sustain ourselves between spirituality and the environment. So if we don't want to say soul food and then body food. Yeah? Yeah, so come on, so now when we see animal as food and all these things, but we're supposed to, so we're going to consider the tradition. We're supposed to give thanks to the animals and the plants and I worship that, because this is what we are eating as food. So we're not supposed to give reverence to this. The thing where we are eat, we supposedly keep we healthy and fit and strong and help us to grow. Well, there might be different arguments about the whole animal thing in terms of killing animal, because if we check it on the next level, that even a break with spirituality, because we're supposed to harm a next life. That kind of a way as taking it for food and not even a give thanks for it. Not even a worship this food. And I give thanks to this food. We just take it for granted that, yeah, this is how it is. And we just continue and behave this way. So from that level, this thing we are sustain, we are build, we are grow, we can't even find it in ourselves to really give thanks and worship it. Because we weren't taught, we weren't trained this way. We just come to people and do things. Yeah, so we got disconnected from the whole thing of giving reverence to this life where we have to take for help our life. You know what I mean? So it became a soulless act, a spiritual-less act. Became barbarous in a sense that we're just going to murder a next life, take a next life, sustain our own and not even give reverence back to the environment to say, give thanks. So we got disconnected from where we have come from in the sense of the spiritual connection to all things and being able to maintain that. So it even got transferred into why man can just take a next man life, because we got disconnected from the spiritual connection of everything being a part of a oneness, you know what I mean? So, and we got taught that disconnect through time, through the slavery, through the, you know what I mean, coming to a new world where with customs and with tradition and with rituals, yeah, with food even, the whole way of life, in essence, weren't taken with us. We were taken from that and carried to something new. We never reverenced that kind of a connection. And we now say, where we have come from, the whole it was good. But we have said the basic, the root of it was that. So if we really dig into it, we probably realize that we lost some intelligence, because we got claimed as the higher part of the life and probably take it for granted that the animals and the birds and the things what we eat, we probably forget them have a language for themselves. So if we check it, we see how a group of goat move or a group of animal within for them group move. That the mother won't left a kid or a cub or the chickens and the chicks and the birds, and you know what I mean. It's a family. It's a movements, sounds, communication, and I guess we can sense a certain things when we're about to take the life from an animal. We can see how they move differently. I think we lost some intelligence, or we override that intelligence just for our own satisfaction. So if we know, remember, say words are not the only way we communicate. There's actions, there's sounds, there. You know what I mean? There are bang, it was a sound, and somebody go on the corner when me say, they know what me I say, and that kind of a thing. There were codes, there are codes, because we see like military people and all these people now take on them thing there, and it's a finger movement or a particular sound, and the next member of your team know what you say. So we see these things still being used, but not so much by us anymore. It becomes a code for sometimes more so evil than good. So as much as we are claimed to be the more higher intelligent being, if we really check with actions, it not really match up, because we should be understanding of the communication skills of the animals and the birds and things like these. For the most part, I think we do still, but we ignore it. We develop ourselves of overriding that kind of feeling of just forget to our objective, whether it's to feed yourself or, you know what I mean, whatever the case is. That's the level of spirituality. But religion and church, and we will not hold on to these things. Like, sometimes if you ever observe a goat or a fowl, they will refuse to eat certain things based on smell and looks and whatever. So if you really check into it, there's a level of intelligence there that we can even learn from in some sense. But we use our selfishness and the fact of using them to survive, we override, and we train ourselves to ignore the feeling and the spiritual connection that we have, because it is there. But just to satisfy our wants and our needs, we override that over time till it gets to a place of total disconnect. So not even giving thanks for one life that is helping to sustain yours or ours. Yeah, and on the next side of the thing, if we even want to check the level of the environment, the intelligence of the environment itself, where a tree, a fruit tree, it gives you fruits, but it also gives you back seeds. So these seeds is now supposed to be the replenishing of. You can plant back these seeds, preserve the continuous cycle of always getting fruit. So you're going to plant back these seeds, get back these trees, and more fruits upon more fruits. So we shouldn't even run out of food in some sense. But because we're disconnected in such a way, we are diminished with food supply, and then embarking on something else for sustain us. I think we are losing intelligence as much as we see happening through the whole modernization cycle. But we're losing intelligence. So even this thing of praying around the dinner, around the table, the family praying around the food, is not no modern thing if that's how we see it. It come from memory, where we're coming from through the ancestral lineage. So we probably not even associate the whole act of praying around the table, around the food, as a spiritual thing itself. We're probably more seeing the prayer itself as a spiritual part, and not just the act of being around the food and the family, and giving reverence to the whole way of how this food got provided. from the environment to the man, to the preparation, to the... So this connection, we got disconnected from it. Even within doing the thing, sometimes we're not connected with it. It's more so of being taught to, rather than where it's coming from and what it is for, in a sense. So we just need to reconnect and just really vehemently give thanks for what is sustaining us, the environment. You know what I mean? The spiritual, the seen, the unseen. Yeah, man. Still upon the spiritual part, man, so we are going to check into the disconnect now of the whole religion and church and spirituality. So, God was given to us. I guess we have to go back to come forward. Because within our history as Africans, as far as my little research and check, based on who have been doing the research and checking and digging into our history, we come from spirituality. In a sense of how them come call voodoo or obeah so now. Because it wasn't about evil then. It probably became evil after we come, yeah, so, and get corrupted. At that time it was spirituality, reaching out to the ancestors, trying to get knowledge and guidance from the strong warrior spirits before. Come forward, we understand, say, religion. Some aspects of the Bible was a part of our enslavement. So yeah, it's been a good look while we have the reasoning to put out, but it's like the spirit and the energies that say, hold on, youth. I see it come forward and now we have some information can add to the reasoning. So we're going to play a little clip with some information. And I guess we're going to make that the end of part 1 until me pick up the reasoning in a part 2. So take a listen to this clip here. Give thanks. Blessed love.
Have you heard that a rare, what they're calling a slave Bible, is now on display? It says it's rare and it's extremely controversial. It's a 19th century Bible and it's on display at the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. It was a powerful tool of propaganda, a mind control device, and a generator of fake news, once used by British missionaries to convert enslaved Africans to Christianity. And they say that this is a Bible that was used in the British West Indies, in places like Jamaica. They say the rare Bible is on loan from Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, and been exhibited in the Washington Museum since it opened in November 2017. According to a Fisk University paper, only 3 copies of this Bible are known to exist, and the example on display in Washington is the only copy in the United States. But the thing about this Bible is that parts of the Bible were selected for the use of the so-called, and I quote, Negro slaves in the British West India Island. It was published in 1807. It was compiled with the intention of being read to African slaves, so enslaved Africans in the British West Indies, the modern day Caribbean. And so it's the original fake news. Deliberately, some elements of the Bible were deliberately taken out. So now you know how the Bible was used to enslave, how the Bible was used in the process of enslavement. But you know, I'm still a bit skeptical, because even though you had these, I mean, the Bible was here in many, many, many different forms, and I think this is somebody's attempt to make another aspect of the Bible relevant, and I'm talking about the Exodus, you know. So Anthony Schmidt is an associate curator of Bible and Religion in America at the Washington Museum, and he told reporters at NPR the first instance of the abridged version, titled Parts of the Holy Bible, selected for the use of Negro slaves in the British West India Islands, was published in 1807. It was compiled with the intention of being read to enslaved Africans in the British West Indies. Parts that have been taken out. This Galatians 3 verse 8 taken out. They say all of Exodus removed. 50% of the New Testament missing in terms of readable content. And it says while a Protestant Bible has 1,189 chapters, the Slave Bible has 232 chapters. So, oh boy. As you learn about this on your way to church today, please talk about it in your church services. I dare the pastors, well, I challenge pastors here in Jamaica. And let's start here, because we're going to have to impact and affect what's happening on the continent of Africa, especially West Africa, with the fanaticism that we see happening there in West Africa. But once again, with all the information in, all the chapters in, Africans in droves, more than ever. Pope Francis, who was the Pope before Pope Francis again? What's his name? Ratzinger. What was it? Pope? What was his name? Pope Ratzinger. But that was his name before he was Pope. Well, when he became Pope, his mandate, and he challenged every priest in the world, was to re-Christianize Africa. He told them to go out and re-Christianize Africa. We see Pope Francis doing the very same thing. We see a teacher in Kenya just earlier this week who received the Best Teacher in the World award, dressed in his full Roman Catholic garb. And every shop, every church, every bar, almost every building in Ghana is named the Jesus Bar, the Jesus Shop, the Jesus Casket, and so on. So Christianity, in the most fanatic kind of way, Western Christianity, Eurocentric Christianity, has now taken over the continent of Africa in ways that we have never seen it before. So we are bearing witness. We're bearing witness to the despiritualization of Africa. We're bearing witness once again to the re-enslavement of Africa. We're bearing witness to neocolonialism, but settler colonialism. And by bearing witness, I mean that we are part of the problem. Because you see, to us, bearing witness means that once you're there, once you've seen it, then it becomes your responsibility to help to make the change. All right, so we see all of this happening on the continent of Africa, in the Caribbean, and all around us. And they tell us, you can't even talk about African, you can't even say Africa. You can't say the word Africa, because more now than ever, Africa is a sinful place, and Africa is sin, and Africa is a verb, and to Africa is to commit the worst kind of blasphemy that you can ever commit. That is among our own families, our blood families, who have taken up all kinds of positions in these charismatic churches, and some not so charismatic, that now if you're Africa, you are dead, go hell. Serious thing. Anyway, let's see if we can get to that clip about the slave Bible.
One of DC's newest attractions, the Museum of the Bible, recently opened an exhibit about a surprising and lesser-known artifact from the 1800s called the Slave Bible.
The Slave Bible is different than other Bibles. The Selected Bible was removing some portions, especially those that would tend to inspire this sense of liberation, maybe the sense of resistance, and they were including the sections that would reinforce this slave system that the British Empire depended upon.
This Slave Bible omits 90% of the Old Testament and nearly half of the New Testament.
The Slave Bible does not include the Exodus from Egypt, that whole movement, as it says, Moses says to Pharaoh, "Let my people go." That whole section is not there.
But stories about slavery, like this one about Joseph's brothers selling him to the Ishmaelites, remain. The Bible comes from Fisk University's collection and is currently on loan to the museum, where it has become one of the biggest attractions.
The object and single artifact in the museum that has attracted the most attention, both on site as well as in social media, has been the Slave Bible.
New exhibits like the Slave Bible are intended to broaden the appeal of the museum. The museum is also home to some nearly 4,000-year-old Canaanite pottery and artifacts from Jerusalem. Many experiences are tailored to families, including this theater that tells Bible stories in an immersive way.
And all are coming to him.
The Slave Bible is only one part of the continuing growth of this 6-story museum, just a few blocks from the National Mall. Brock Hall reporting.